Feeding your cannabis plants does not have to be complicated. Today, let's break down the basics of nutrients so you'll know exactly what your plants need and when they need them. But before we do, today's video is brought to you by Real Growers Grow Dots, the easiest way to feed your high-value plants. You mix Grow Dots in once at the beginning of your grow, and they feed your plants all the way to harvest. You don't have to worry about nutrient burn or nutrient lockout. Grow Dots does all the hard work for you. Check them out over at realgrowers.com. And while you're there, use coupon code Scotty420 to get 20% off your first order. Now let's get back to the show. Come on, Heisey, let's get into this one. This one's cool.
Yeah, so anybody that knows me knows that this was my biggest pain point when it came to growing was understanding nutrients. Man, they make it so complicated.
I mean, maybe deliberately, because, boy, if you're a marketer, wouldn't you want to sell somebody 15 bottles instead of one?
As a marketer, sir, I am offended.
Yeah, I got to be honest, you got the wrong guy here because we have a one part. Anyway, man, I just want to break it down. There's some facts here, okay? I have very simple information I can give you that within less than a minute we can understand nutrients, or at least the basics, all right?
Okay, let's start with the basics.
NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, all of them are absolutely essential. Those are the major building blocks. Those are the ones where, the NP and K, the 4, 10, 12, if you add all those up, that's out of 100 pounds of fertilizer. How many pounds of NP and K are in there? So when you get something like that, all right, that's NP and K, all right? That's your nitrogen for green growth, phosphorus, they always talk about flowering, potassium for roots. That is such an oversimplification. You need all of them, okay? Those are your macros. Now your secondary nutrients, we talk about these all the time. Calcium, magnesium, sulfur. You need those in big amounts, man, or decent amounts. Sometimes you need calcium sometimes as much as a macronutrient on some strains. Sulfur, you can have 5 or 6% sulfur, which is just like a macronutrient. Those two, okay, there's a lot there, or at least that's going to make up the bulk of your fertilizer.
Before we jump on,
sure.
Before we move on, I know that a lot of times just going with the NP and K, a lot of people will be like, oh man, that needs CalMag.
Sure.
And so calcium, magnesium, you also need some significant amount of those as well?
Oh, definitely. Those are secondary nutrients, and secondary nutrients are needed in a good amount. It's not you got your NP and K, and then you got your secondary nutrients. You might have 11 units of nitrogen. You might have 4 or 5 units of sulfur. You might have 3 or 4 units of calcium. So it's decent. And the only reason I'm saying that, because now let's get to the micronutrients. They're also sometimes called trace elements. Mm-hmm. These are like molybdenum and zinc and boron.
Iron is one?
Iron is one. And these are, I think they're, God, I should have studied this. There's like 13 of them or something like that. They're these minor elements. But without them, your plants can't operate. And I was thinking about, what is it, vitamin D? Is that the one where you gotta either go get it from the sun, or you can take a supplement? But without that little supplement, your body won't operate, man. So it's the same thing where it's, some of this stuff, it's like the tiniest little you need. I think zinc, it's 0.0, it's like 13 milligrams of zinc a plant needs. That is a tiny amount. But without it, the plant ain't gonna grow right.
So it doesn't need like the big 10% of its nutrient.
Oh, that'd be bad, yeah.
Yeah, the poison is in the dose, I think you said.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
it does need a tiny, tiny bit.
Yes, but guess what? That's really easy to do. Every fertilizer company for the last however many, decades and decades has been making this simple blend, man. Primaries, your macros rather, your secondaries, and your trace elements. So you don't need to go and buy them separately. If you go to the hydro store and they want to sell you trace nutrients or micronutrients, man, chances are you probably don't need them.
Well, and I know that we spent almost a year trying to get Grow Dots perfect for all of the different, and it's all in one. But is there a reason that because I know some growers still go out and they buy their micros and they buy their macros, and then they do buy this trace elements in separate. What's up with that?
I guess if you are building your own soil, like somebody like Jeremy from Build a Soil, or an organic person, yeah, if you're starting out with a sterile media, then you will need to introduce those micronutrients. My point is, when you're buying bottles or when you're buying, fertilizer, a synthetic fertilizer, man, it should come complete. Okay, it should come with primary, secondary, and trace elements or micronutrients. Now, granted, we're growing a special plant here. Some of these strains are calcium and magnesium hogs. All right, so adding a little bit extra calcium or magnesium via strain dependent, it's okay. That makes sense to me.
Gotcha. Okay, so it makes sense to have like a secondary product in case you need a little bit of an extra boost.
Yes, and man, do you mind if we use that as a segue to talk about some of these other secondary products?
Yeah, absolutely. What else besides these are not specifically nutrients?
Yeah, these are PGPSs. Okay, they're plant growth promoting substances. Man, that sounds like a government guy made that, didn't he? So what these aren't essential nutrients. Your plant can thrive without these. It can grow without these, but these are extra things that if you give it to them, it seems to give a little bit of extra oomph. The plants love it. And great. Yes, sir.
So it's not specifically a nutrient, but it is something that your plant helps build itself with?
Yes, exactly. And a great one to think about is silica. That's a perfect example of one. Your plants don't need silica. When you give it to them, your plants know just what to do with it. It sucks it up, it deposits in the cell wall, and it makes a stronger plant. That's a fact. But if you look on that list of primary, secondary, and micronutrients, you're not going to find silica on there. Same with kelp. Kelp is loaded with phytohormones. It doesn't give you your N, P, and K. It gives you these hormones that make the plant suck up that N, P, and K more. Is it necessary? No. Is it beneficial? Heck yeah, man.
Well, isn't kelp's like one of the fastest growing or the fastest growing plant on earth?
Kelp is the fastest growing plant in the world. So by grinding it up and getting that into your plants, whether you squeeze it or grind it up, you're getting those plant growth promoting substances, man. And it helps. It really does. Humic and fulvic acids. Man, a lot of these are in recharge. Imagine that. But those lower the amount of energy that it takes for the nutrient to get into the plant. Is it making nutrient? No. Is it getting more nutrient? Is it promoting the plant? Plant growth? Heck yeah, it is. And another one I'm thinking about is chitosan. Remember we talked about that for the stress response, man?
Yeah, I'm thinking like crustaceans or something
That's
like that.
That's the crustacean meal. You ever? They'll be like, for organics, they'll be like grind up crustacean meal. Plants don't need crustacean meal. What they're getting is this chitosan from it, and this chitosan stimulates stress response, makes the plant grow better. That's what we're talking about, man.
Doesn't that specific one, it like helps increase terpene production or something?
That's what they say. But don't make me ask Dr. Bugby. Yes, but it does give a benefit. Yes, that's what it's supposed to do. The idea is that the plant will uptake it. It is so foreign to the plant. It is crab shell, but the plant will uptake it, and they're not making it for. It's not just some gimmick product. They're making it, and it's a thing because it works.
So all of these things are kind of like not really nutrients, but your plant does uptake them, and it does help the plant growth.
Exactly.
Okay, and then you just mentioned it is hard to tell sometimes bunk products versus products that actually work. You do a lot of experimenting, but what have you learned from all of your experimentation using all these different products?
I've learned that plants make things on their own. So a healthy plant, I'll give you an example, is one that drives me nuts. If you see a B vitamin complex, it's either hiding weird stuff in there or it's a waste of money, because your plants, healthy plants, will make all the B vitamins that they need. Not necessary. What's another one? Enzyme products. That's what I wanted to bring up. Your microbes, okay? I know about this stuff. Microbes secrete enzymes. That's what's awesome about them, okay? It's a huge benefit is the enzyme secretion that they make. You don't have to go buy some bottle of enzymes, chemical enzymes, man. You're so much better doing it in the soil, having the microbes make them as they need them, where they need them. So, yeah, don't buy an enzyme product either, man.
The last one that I'm thinking of, we just did an episode on it, but we were talking about bud sweeteners.
Yeah.
That, to me, it kind of looks like those fall into this maybe scammy products. I don't know.
Yeah, but you're doing a bud sweetener. Now, granted, I put molasses in Recharge. A lot of people use molasses because it's not a bud sweetener, but it's a microbe food, and microbes will in turn, build better quality, bigger yields. So I guess you can make those claims with a couple degrees of separation away, but it's not a bud sweetener, man.
Yeah, I just know when I'm looking for things, especially when I first started and I wasn't working with you yet, man, there's 1,000 different things that they tell you. You have to buy this and you have to get this.
That's what I'm really trying to combat here. I want people to be able to grow and get a grow tent and everything they need, and maybe spend $1,000 and do it right, and be able to make cannabis for however long they want to make their own medicine for. And you don't have to go spending $600 or $700 on bottles of nutrients. Shameless plug for Grow Dots. It's $10 a plant from seed to harvest. That's what I want y'all doing, man. I want y'all just growing simply and not spending a fortune on it. Hey, but that is what I think is important about plant nutrients. Did I miss something? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this video, please hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, share this video with another grower and check out the other couple videos YouTube is recommending. I sure hope you like them.